For weeks, we have been talking about the price of gas and we've been feeling it, but some relief could be on the way. House Democrats want to give you some money to help with the sticker shock. The proposal would send an energy rebate of $100 per month to individuals or $200 for couples, plus $100 for each dependent for each month the national gas price.
So good news, the more states have finally decided to approve more financial assistance to the low income. States like Tennessee and Georgia have approved bonus payments for some residents. These payments may be worth as much as $500, but there are strict requirements that need to be met in order to qualify. And now, we can finally expect more stimulus to be sent out. The Tennessee Department of Human Services is providing extra support for families to receive cash assistance in the amount of $500. The Tennessee Department of Human Services will provide financial assistance through its Family First program. Households that are part of the program will receive a one-time additional payment of $500 on their existing electronic benefit transfer cards. One-time payments have already begun being sent to eligible families. This one-time boost in financial assistance is intended to help families and first participants overcome these temporary hurdles. We serve some of the most economically vulnerable families, said the commissioner, and children through the Families First program. He recognized the challenges they're facing and keeps up demand of the holiday season and wants to introduce new ways to overcome hurdles for the people that are suffering. Minnesota will also get a new stimulus check thanks to the election results last month, where Democrats won both House and Senate. Now, everybody, the Democrats fully control the state legislature. It's very possible that $1,000 stimulus checks from Minnesota could be reality. During the 2022 midterm election, the Minnesota's Democratic Farm Labor Party retained its majority in the Minnesota House of Representatives and won a majority in the Senate. Also, the governor was able to win re-election. One big advantage of a single party controlling all parts is that it makes it easier to send out bills and approve proposals, especially if the opposing party doesn't have enough votes to counter. Analysts believe that the latest election results could lead to a $1,000 stimulus check for Minnesota. There are two reasons why Democrats could go ahead with the stimulus checks. First, Minnesota is still sitting on top of a $9 billion surplus, thanks to a tax high collection. The state budget office estimated $9 billion in surplus money in March. Second, the governor, during his campaign trail speeches, reminded voters of his plan to use the surplus money to send up to $1,000 stimulus checks to individuals and up to $2,000 to couples. Governor Walz proposed sending another stimulus check again this year without reaching a consensus on how to spend the budget. And also, government employees in Georgia can expect a sizable direct payment next week. It comes after officials decide to offer a bonus Christmas check. The state is looking to retain more workers as they have struggled to come up with enough money to pay first responders, utility workers, and other positions. The Board of Commissioners has told reporters this week that the residents deserve sustainable, high-quality county government services, and those made possible by a strong, reliable workforce. Payments will vary depending on the position. Full-time employees are set to receive $1,000, while part-time will get $750. Workers should receive payments starting this week. Also, the Gwinnett County School District employees are set to receive a bonus of $1,000 in December, with as many as 21,000 workers eligible. It comes from the school district, and they gave out the bonuses of $700 last year to the full-time employees.
The gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Malinowski, and the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Graves, will each control 20 minutes. Chair recognizes the gentleman from New Jersey.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days within which to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on H.R. 1917 as amended.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
I rise in support of H.R. 1917. This bipartisan bill, sponsored by Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher, makes it easier for municipalities to access federal funds to protect people and property from disasters like the major floods that have hit my state of New Jersey and other states across the country. For every $1 taxpayer dollar invested in mitigation, up to $13 are saved. The vast majority of FEMA's mitigation investments are made via the agency's longest-running mitigation grant program, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, or HMGP, which began in 1989. Since then, more than $5 billion have been obligated to HMGP projects, but due to various issues, including lack of capacity and burdensome red tape, more than $1 billion of these funds have gone unobligated. $1 billion in unspent hazard mitigation funds translates to a minimum of $4 billion in unrealized disaster recovery savings in the communities that were unable to advance these mitigation projects. So this bill begins to cut the red tape and make it easier for communities to start their projects early while still taking advantage of the HMGP grants to complete their hazard mitigation projects that involve acquisitions. So in short, H.R. 1917 helps communities access funding to complete mitigation projects that will save lives, property, and taxpayer dollars. Mr. Speaker, I support this legislation, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Louisiana is recognized.
I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of H.R. 1917, the Hazard Eligibility and Local Projects Act. As the gentleman from New Jersey just stated, this is a critical bill. It has already passed.
It's on the way right now, everybody. More and more fourth stimulus payments have been approved. Congress is going to take huge action this week to establish new financial assistance programs. And millions of Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and RRB beneficiaries can expect to receive new stimulus payments. States have announced their action plan to address the rising cost of living that so many people are facing. President Biden has also made announcements on how the White House plans to further lower prices for the American people.
This means taking health care to the people, often the hardest to reach and often left out, and the most medically underserved. So I urge President Biden to sign this bill into law without delay to improve health outcomes across the board and make a positive difference in people's lives. Thank you, and I yield back.
And while U.S. gas prices have come down from the highs seen this summer, they are still clearly weighing on President Biden, who today repeated demands for oil companies to charge less. During a meeting of the White House Competition Council, Joe Biden said last month, the price of oil worldwide is down, and we haven't seen the lower prices reflected at the pump. Meanwhile, oil and gas companies are still making record profits and billions of dollars more in profits. And according to the AAA, U.S. oil futures fell 9.2% in August. Gas prices during the same month were also down, dipping to 9.2%. As Biden noted in his speech, gas prices across the country remain uneven. They are substantially higher in western states due to a lack of refining capacity. Biden to reporters, my message is simple. To the companies running gas stations and send these prices, bring down the prices you're charging at the pump to reflect the cost you pay for the product. Biden's words